Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
All right. Another reaction here. This one's from Too Raw for TV. Why the 80s and 90s stars were better than the stars of today. Looks like Mr. Dominique Wilkins on the thumbnail or whatever, the picture. All right. See what he has to say. Or anything you want to say to preface this at all, Anthony? Or we'll just react to it. Hello? All right, I guess we're reacting to it. Here we go.
Oh, shit, you hear me? My bad. You hear me?
I hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm saying nah. I just thought he had an interesting perspective.
Okay. Well, let's hear his perspective. I have not heard this yet. So for me, it's a reaction. Here we go. What's up, YouTube?
What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so one of our subscribers wanted me to give a take on what's the difference between the stars of the 80s and 90s and the stars of today. So let me say this, because sometimes we get accused of being like nostalgia addicts who are not living in this century, that we think it's 1991 or 1998 in our heads, and we won't live in the near, we won't live in the present, we're living in the past and all this other nonsense. I do believe that today's players are all better ball handlers
With looser
in
rules.
general than players of the past. I think that can't be really argued. Players of today, they're better ball handlers. They have better on-ball skills, yes. They're better three-point shooters today. The ubiquitous of the three-point shot pretty much necessitates that they're better three-point shooters than they were just 10, 15 years ago, let alone the 80s and 90s, obviously. Outside of mid-range shooting, players of today are better, to the point where a lot of these guys have range beyond mid-court. We saw that just yesterday with the guy
mid-court.
Hauser from the Boston Celtics hitting a half-court three. We saw that early in the playoffs with
I'm not counting
Jamal
that.
Murray. I think we saw it a couple, maybe one other time in the playoffs. In the past, we might have saw that happen once every 2 or 3 years. Someone hitting a half-court shot. Players are better free throw shooters today. So there's that.
Big men are better. All right. There was more big men back in the day. There were a lot more around. And no, they were not as good as the big men today, which are usually like 6'9" fucking centers and shit like that, shooting free throws. I agree with that. I think a lot of those guys, if you look at them athletically, if they wanted to learn how to shoot threes, they could have fucking did it. No problem. If the rules were looser with dribbling, I think they'd be able to do it. I'm going off of athletic prowess more than, Now, I think there's more of a volume of good players, of skilled players today, right? More people are capable of doing more things. But back then, you're running around with a post game and 7-foot fucking whatever the fuck guys running around everywhere. Big centers, big men, guys who just rebound, defense, all that shit, block shots, post up, and that's all they did. They didn't do anything else. So I'd say there's an overall, there's more widespread skill today, but the peak guys from back then can do anything these guys do today, in my opinion. You just have to be allowed to do it or work on it. All right. Did you want to add to that or anything?
No, I just want to say, because I was thinking, I don't like how there's like there's like that debate of like, oh, as time passes, the players just get better as opposed to like the need for context of what has changed around the sport to make things look differently than they are as far as rules, way calls way calls are called, how many fouls are called, et cetera, like
Yeah.
league mandate
Yes.
to where it looks a certain way. But if you really look at it, it's not as organic as it may seem. Where like they say, no, well, it's kind of like an evolution argument of, well, as time passes, they just get better. But they like if you really examine that statement, it's kind of a fallacy.
Okay.
Like you're pointing out that, oh yeah, there's more talent in the league now, but there's nothing to say. There's no one can say that if you didn't mandate certain things, like you said, and certain rules weren't as strict then. I mean, as strict then as they are now.
Yes.
That those players couldn't be what the players of today are.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, the video we just did, where LeBron's basically creating a team. That's his story as the LA Lakers. He's basically creating a team.
Yeah,
And then we've all seen well, not maybe not everyone. Most people have seen The Last Dance, where the Bulls GM is basically like, well, now we got to think of the future. We got to get rid of these players. Like, he had a dynasty, right? He wants to get rid of the coach, some of these
yeah,
players. Like, the players aren't running the ship as far as management goes.
no,
I think there's more wiggle room for shit like that today, which could lead to things where maybe people get made stars out of. I'm not saying like everyone's LeBroning around and fucking. I want this guy to be good, so I'm gonna make sure he's on my team, and I make sure we make him shine. I'm saying certain rules definitely help out certain players to get some more shine than before it's like, bro, earn your keep, or you're just gonna be bounced out of the league. Like, we're gonna shit on you. Like, earn your keep. Like Tony Kukoc, right? Best player in the fucking in Europe or whatever. Comes over, he's like, you got to earn your spot, bro. We're not just gonna draft you and build our entire system around you. Meaning, aka Luca, dribble up court, pick and roll for him, let him shoot when he wants to, pass when he wants to, whatever the fuck. Like, that wasn't really happening as much, I don't think, back then.
no,
To where you can kind of create stars in a way today. Trae Young, it's like if he doesn't play fucking defense, you're not playing, bro. You're not gonna go out there and chuck 23s up. It's like, where's his spot in the fucking 80s or 90s? Right? So it's like, I don't know. It's just different mentalities, I think.
he would be a bench player.
So, and also, it'd be interesting to see where these guys' offenses would be if they had to play hard defense every night. If coach is like, I'm going to bench you if you don't play hard defense.
Yeah,
Let's see where their offense would be. Or or like, hey, man, you just missed 2 games in a row. What's going on? You injured? Like, are you sore or are you actually injured? That was a question when I was a kid. Like, you need to know the difference because everyone plays fucking hurt or sore.
yeah,
But if you're injured, that's a different story, right? Your leg's broken or something. So that'd be interesting. These guys had to actually go through the marathon of an NBA season. Be interesting. And the harder fouls and all that shit, but whatever. All right, let's keep playing this.
Okay. But to me, I prefer the players of the 80s and 90s. And I think the reason why a lot of us have such nostalgia for the players of the 80s and 90s because, for one, there was a lot more offensive versatility back then. Everybody wasn't doing the same thing. Everybody wasn't doing the step back threes, and everybody wasn't always trying to get these cheapies as far as points and fouls, and everything wasn't so pushed out to the perimeter. Everybody wasn't so fixated on perimeter play and 3-point shooting, and what's considered skilled is if you're a big man that can shoot from outside. Whereas, for instance, me, I've always been drawn toward defense. I've always been drawn toward centers. So it is painful sometimes for me to watch basketball and see what it has devolved to, in my opinion, which is analytics have ruined the game. Just like you could argue analytics ruined football. And analytics, when I say football, I mean the NFL. And analytics ruined the NFL. And Major League Baseball. You know, we don't see.
Now, baseball, I can attest to that shit. 100% attest to that. What's the thing with football? Because I remember there was a time period. Remember when like a Michael Vick be coming out of like Virginia Tech or whatever, coming out of college, and it's like, or there's this idea of like the running quarterback, where it's like there's no place for them. We need the guy who can sit in the pocket and make these throws and all that shit. Hasn't that changed a bit? Like with like a Lamar Jackson, who's like,
but
basically
Lamar,
a running back.
Those guys don't win nothing though.
I mean, he's won. Maybe not hasn't won a title, but he wins, right?
Like when you get to playoffs, the game changes. Like the field narrows. If you're a running quarterback, they're gonna take that out away from you. You have to make throws, and you have to make the quick decisions.
Yeah.
And basically, like analytics is like goes hand in hand with the rule changes of throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball to run. Like if you need a few yards, throw the ball. Don't run it. Throw the ball.
Okay.
Like throw the ball. Don't like do the hurry up. Don't also like the way scoring where you don't want to punt. You don't want to kick extra points. You want to go for it as much as you can. And like reasonable as as reasonable as a way as you can, like go for it, like you always want to go for it. But yeah, as far as like the way the game is played, like like don't that's why the running back position doesn't get paid anymore. Like we could just use like we could just have an endless supply. It's like pitchers. We have an endless supply of guys we can just run out there to play the pitchers. No, there's no team that except the fucking Titans that
like a power
like
run offense or something.
yeah, their running back is the feature player. Like that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah. Well, actually, in San Francisco, right? But he does all this other shit besides just running the ball, right? Christian McCaffrey, he's like a receiver too, kind of.
Yeah. Not only that though, they have Debo doing the same thing, and Ayuk, Debo and Ayuk both like they wanted to change it's something about how they got paid. They wanted to change the name from like wide receiver or running back to offensive weapon because they're used because even McCaffrey's used not just as a running back. He's used as a wide receiver and vice versa with Debo and Ayuk.
Oh my god.
To where like the guy Shanahan's like, nah, we need them in space. So like it's all about creating spaces on. It's like basketball. Like you can find your shot. Well, we need to find space for this player to make a move because they're an above average athlete.
Where there's always like either this one team or this one player that does some shit that like just changes everything. I think you'd say like someone like Steph Curry in the NBA, someone like Marshall Faulk in football, where he was like doing everything on offense, running the ball, receiving the ball, doing all this crazy shit. And then maybe like the A's in baseball, where we started shifting towards like, oh no, it's not about rushing yards, it's about yards from scrimmage. That's all that matters, or yards after catch matters.
Yeah, that was a big change to yards from scrimmage.
Guy like that. Tiki Barber was kind of like that too. Or no one cared about his rushing yards. It was like about his yards from scrimmage because he received the ball.
Receiving.
Yeah.
Back. No, he ran hard though too. He definitely ran hard.
Oh yeah, true. But yeah, man, like, is analytics ruining the sport? And like analytics should be a tool that everyone uses, but it can't be the dominant factor of the game, man. Like, I don't want to see a 6'10", 350-pound monster, like jacked, steroided out of his mind, hitting leadoff in baseball. I don't want to see that. Like, that. I don't know. It's like something tells me a traditional team would just whip ass on them if you have the right pieces, right? If you have a leadoff hitter who's an actual leadoff hitter, and then you have a two guys, actually two guy, a 3, 4, or 5 hitters who are actually 3, 4, or 5 hitters, and it's not just going based on, well, here's your at bats or walks or on base plus slugging, like all that shit. Just look at, like, okay, this guy does this when he plays. Like, this is his style of play. He fits in perfectly right here. This guy, he's like a solid defender, and he can also hit. He can run a little bit. Put him in the 3-hole. Like, he's a solid player right there, or whatever. Right? But nowadays, like, A-Rod would be hitting leadoff or hitting second on these teams, man. Or Bonds would be hitting second if he's on the Yankees today. Like, what the fuck, man? It's Barry Bonds, bro. You're supposed to have guys that get on base, as that's their job, to get on base. They swing for contact and they try to get on base, or they try to walk. And these other big brute motherfuckers hit the ball far. They're going to drive in runs. And it's like, just because you dirt bomb the art of pitching and say, look, well, analytics made the offenses get better. It's like, are you sure the pitching didn't go down? Are you sure walks didn't go up? Right, like, no, well, pitching got better, strikeouts went up. Are you sure the hitting didn't go down? Like, this is what I'm looking at with these analytic shit when it comes to baseball itself. Like, they're kind of they're playing around with numbers and shit like that instead of actually watching the game play out.
And they're ruining the economy of the game too.
Crazy.
I'll tell you, where they use traditional numbers to steal money from players. But then the player's like, yo, you told me to do this. Like, sorry, this guy 15 years ago pitched 100 more innings than you did. So he's more valuable than you are, and he got paid this at that time. Like, they're fucking using it on both ends to fuck you over.
I can't wait to see what happens if there's some guy who magically makes it to the major leagues and he throws 89 miles an hour and he's just like under sub 1.5 ERA every fucking year, dominate. I'd be curious to see what happens if that happened. This guy just painting corners over and over again. It's like a modern day Greg Maddux, but like a little better. Like, let's see what happens. He doesn't get strikeouts. He gets ground balls and pop-ups over and over and over again. And has like a sub 1.5 ERA. I'd be curious. Like, what do we do now? Do we switch? Like, all right, we need to go out and scout for 89 mile an hour throwers, and like, what? Are you guys this stupid? We have this new guy, this new hitter named Bob. He had he had 30 home runs last season, but he did it all blindfolded. All right, we need to go find blind players to play baseball for us now. Cause like that's how it's like, bro. They don't fucking look at the actual game. Like, how are people achieving what they're achieving? Either they're they're fucking throwing their whole lives into the pitch to get 100 miles an hour, right? Where it's like they're not looking at them doing it. They're just saying, look, 100 miles an hour. Wow. Sign guys like this.
Yeah, I don't want to bore you, but there's a new there's like a new trend where guys are getting hit more at the plate because pitchers don't have command because everybody's going to throw super hard.
It's more dangerous, bro.
Yeah, it's more dangerous for them and the hitter.
Yes. Oh my god. Look at this guy's. We brought this golfer into Major League Baseball. He hit 50 home runs last year just golfing. It's crazy. We need to find more golfers instead of being like, yo, how did this guy do this? Incredible. And the same applies with these fucking other things, bro. And these other sports, in my opinion. Like, you can look for a craftiness or an intelligence when someone's like a run-first quarterback or a three-point shooter, right? You could see Steph's intelligence when he plays basketball. How he runs offense, how he finds spots, how he knows where screens are going to be at for him to get open. He's reading what the defense is going to do with him. He's an intelligent player, and he mastered a particular type of shot. And now teams are like, well, all right, if Steph shoots 40 something percent and Clay shoots 40 something percent, but the rest of the team shoots 25%, we can Billy Bean balance this by having a bunch of guys shoot 35% on our team.
Yeah.
Now you have, they're not specials anymore. They're just like a bunch of guys who can shoot okay from 3-point land. But it'll total up to like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Trash. My bad, dude. Good.
No, it's just, that's crazy how they really took the Oakland A shit.
Straight up. Someone must have knew him, man.
Bro, yo, this guy hits 240, but his on base percentage is 360 or 400, let's say.
Yeah, that makes him Manny Ramirez for getting on base. Like, fuck out of here, bro. Have you watched Manny play? Have you watched him hit? I don't need analytics to tell me that Manny is a minus defender in the field. Sorry, your wins over replacement. Don't show me these things. When he doesn't back up on a play where a ball gets thrown away, and the guy gets 2 extra bases because Manny's not there backing up. An actual coach who knows the fucking game will know what that does to a team. And you have 162 of these fucking games. They add up. And it's like, to not know that, but to know like, oh, well, his wins above replacement, to know shit like that, it's like it's important to know that, but like to make that the sole thing is incredible. Why is Kyle Schwarber leading off for any major league team? I wouldn't let him lead off in Little League, bro. He's a fucking 6-hitter, tops.
And that shit is so misleading because wins above replacement is based on your contemporaries. So if the league sucks, you look better in certain aspects.
Oh man, I could rant on this and all that. I could probably do this with football too. I don't know as much about football. I could probably rant there too, man. Like it's. I wonder, is he gonna say the thing that Gilbert was saying about agents making analytics the forefront so they can get players signed for shitloads of money, even though they don't get Jason Hayward $20 million a year to like not hit good at all. To bat 220. He needs $15 million a year to hit 220 and strike out 180 times. But he catches the ball in right field. Like, bro. Killing me. All right, listen to it. I'm wrecked, bro.
What happened to the Tony Gwynn's, the Kirby Pucketts?
Guys who get hit?
What happened to those guys? What happened to the high average guys? What happened to those guys? What happened to the 3,000 hit players, the guys who got singles and the Pete Roses?
Let me tell you, too, Raw. No one knows how they did it. There are people who know, but most baseball people, I mean, people that are in Major League, have been in the Major Leagues for 20 fucking years, been coaching in the Major Leagues for 20, 50 fucking years, they don't fucking know how they're doing it. They're just like, oh, those guys are special. They just say those guys are special, and they just let them do it. They don't try to analyze it, study it. Instead of using analytics and studying the fucking mechanics of someone, they study the fucking numbers of them. How do we replicate those numbers? We'll take Bob and Billy, add them together. We have Tony Gwynn right there. There we go. Your star players aren't star players, bro, in Major League Baseball. I'm telling you right now. There's probably maybe few and far between there are legitimate stars, but other than that, you don't have stars in Major League Baseball anymore. Straight up. No stars, no personalities. Bryce Harper's a fucking tool bag. Like, you just don't. A lot of these guys aren't American. Like, so for America's pastime, like, Americans aren't, gliding to fucking baseball.
NBA is doing the same shit, bro.
Yeah.
Not to the same extent, but yeah, same shit.
Well, theirs is like their shit actually works towards I think the American audience. Like they love to see the foreign players do things and shit like that.
But I don't know because I don't know if you I don't know how much you buy into that. where like these ratings weren't good, and last year's ratings weren't good because it was led by two foreign players as like the
Nah,
catalyst for the teams.
nah. I don't think that's the reason why. I think a lot of kids look up to these players, and I don't even think they sit around watching NBA games. They watch workout videos of these guys like working out, or or highlights of them doing dribbling moves or dunks and shit like that. Like, that's it. They don't need to fucking watch the game. Like, honestly, that's what I think kids do. I think they look up to these guys. Any player who's good, whether they're foreign or not, Giannis, Luka, Embiid. If you're foreign or not, doesn't matter. Like, they look up and they want to play like these guys. There's some 6, 7 foot tall kid right now who's 17, and he's watching Embiid videos, wanting to copy him. Like, man, I want to be able to shoot threes and do this and dribble between my legs and do ISO moves as a fucking center. They're definitely looking up to him, but they're watching highlights of him. I don't think they're watching fucking full games to see the entire scope of what an offense is being ran. Not that there's much offense being ran, right? If they watch Kobe highlights, it's not they'll go and watch the triangle fucking offense, all right? Or Shaq or whatever. They're there to see them do dribble moves or dunks or whatever the fuck.
Step backs, yeah.
Yo, what was their bag like? Instead of like, yo, what was the offense being ran?
Yeah, I want you to play now because I want you to listen to where he argues that the players of back then had a bigger bag than the players now.
I thought you just argued against that. Really?
No, who? No. Listen. He's saying they were more versatile back then than they are now.
Okay.
I wonder, yeah, what you think of that.
All right, let's play it. Here we go.
What happened to the Ricky Hendersons? We don't see those guys anymore. Everybody wants to swing for the
Ricky
fences.
Henderson be a god
now
today.
You got guys getting
god.
getting paid millions of dollars who are legitimately going out there without criticism, hitting 40 home runs, maybe driving in 110 runs, but they're batting 220. They're striking out 200 times, and that's acceptable now.
Oh my god, man.
Reggie Jackson would have been pilloried by the press for doing that.
Yep.
Well, anyway, I digress. Go back to basketball. The players of the past to me were also tougher. I'm sorry, they were tougher. They weren't such whining prima donnas like today. You saw that. Don't get me wrong. You had guys who were crybabies and all that. But generally, the players were tougher.
Agreed.
Why? Because the rules weren't as stringent when it came to what defenders could do out there. The offensive stars and offensive players weren't as protected. They didn't have as much freedom. They couldn't do everything with the basketball they ever do now. So by nature, that made the players tougher. That made them less crybabyish. Also, players, generally went to 3 to 4 years of college back then. So they were used to being a team-oriented game. So while they did have individual skill sets, they could still play within the confines of a team. You had your...
And there was something like this more artistic version of sports to me, which is this idea of willpower and like, yo, if I just gonna get in the gym, I'm gonna work 10 times harder, I will get better, and I'm gonna make this fucking team. I'm gonna work my ass off and make this team, or I'm gonna make this shot because I'm in my zone right now. I'm gonna will myself to make this. Is that a lost art in basketball?
Are you saying players are now more complacent because of social media and things of that nature?
Maybe.
Just the way society is.
I don't know the reasons why, but
Well, look at LeBron James. Because all right, so LeBron James can't really say he grew up in the social media landscape. Like, it happened as he was already like in his prime. He was already established. But look at him. Just look at all the praise he got, all the publicity he got. And basically, like, the guy works hard. He works hard on his body and things of that nature. And he understands the game to a certain extent. But he was never like and it's actually when he has been pushed, he's taking that in a negative sense.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Like acting like other players before him didn't go through that. All the
Yeah.
greats when they didn't win, right? Minus like Magic or Larry Bird or like won kind of right away. But like guys who didn't win right away, they ate shit from the fucking media. Like, when's he gonna win? When's he gonna win? All right, he won. All right. Oh shit, or whoever it might be. Like, oh, they keep winning, or
But
they got that one.
but
That one
also
coming
not
back.
even the media. Like that whole fucking. It's that whole like What's the word um in entitlement within organizations where like your pecking order is so high. There's only so much someone in management or coaching can tell you before their job might be in jeopardy because you don't like how they're talking to you.
Yes. Like you're not allowed to fail. Apparently, like
You're not allowed to fail, and when you do fail, it's someone else's fault.
and there's like, remember the shit LeBron said in that post game that people were pissed off about. It was like, oh,
Basketball.
it's just basketball,
Yeah.
or that shit that Giannis said after they lost, and he's like he did. I don't consider it a failure, and they sound like it sounds like they're talking more about like business mergers that
Yes.
that didn't work out or
Yeah.
something instead of like fuck we fucking lost motherfucker, like someone who's like
And that's a
serious
cold.
about it.
Yeah, there's no pride in your craft, basically.
I was like, man, I lost that game, my stomach turned. I gotta wait a whole fucking year to get back here, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck. All that they know all the work they did leading up to it. They're like, we fucking lost. Fuck. But they go to the press conference like, yeah, we lost. It's on me. I didn't do enough.
And it's not like, it's not isolated only to the NBA, but the NBA is definitely in that zone of you want to even when something bad happens, when you don't succeed or you come up short, you want to hone in on positivity
Yes.
instead of like keeping it like quote unquote keeping it real.
Is that an era thing? I want to ask
I
you.
think it is. I think it is.
Yeah. Getting that whiff. Yeah.
Like there's I don't know like take ESPN for example. Like you have Stephen A. You have your people, and they're like they look at things as they're going on. They give a certain outlook on it. But even they are like I don't know. Even they are viewed as like if you're a player and you see that they say something scathing about you, it's almost viewed like I don't know. Like oh, don't worry about it. It's just they just need something to talk about.
Yeah.
Where like everything comes down to they just need something to talk about, like et cetera, et cetera. But it's more than that. It's more. I'm more into the part of honing in on positivity, honing in on um uh, uh deflecting any negative criticism,
Like,
positive reinforcement. If I could say that
and you want
more
to talk?
about what
Yeah.
happened.
I'm saying like you want to talk about fucking Brave New World, where it's just happy sunshine all the time and no sense
Yeah,
of negativity. There's no nighttime. It's just
to the extent where when all right, like someone has to get fired or like you guys just didn't get you didn't live up to expectations.
yeah.
Even that's met with excuses and like coddling and holding hands to the players,
Yes.
which
Uh,
also affects like management, also affects ownership.
yep. I mean, what were we talking about when we were watching the WNBA shit or talking about the WNBA? Where it's like, yo, the product isn't there. It's like these announcers are like afraid to say airball.
Yeah,
They
you
say,
can't.
oh, they came up short.
Yeah,
It's like, yo, they airballed it, bro. Say they airballed. Say that was a bad
yeah.
shot. That was a bad pass. That's
It's
traveling.
funny because it's same. It's same. Like I hate even talking about because that's kind of like going into what I'm saying, it's kind of contradicting me when it comes to because there's all these fucking right wing culture war dipshits
Yeah.
that will they have that weapon in their back pocket where like yo the sport is not there, and on top of that you can't critique it, and they're gonna like wrap it around toxic femininity or whatever. But at the same time, there is something to be said about that in like an honest way. But but you almost want to like those announcers. You want to watch your words because for whatever reason, they're probably doing it for uh marketing reasons, etc. You're a partner with these people.
Yeah.
But it's funny because in the NBA, they'll have no problem. Mike Breen will have no problem saying airball.
Yeah,
He airballed the job.
because he also knows that same guy can fucking swish a fucking 3-pointer at the same time. Like it's there's probably more.
That's a good point too. There's more. Yeah, there's more. I don't know. There's more. Not accountability, but almost like you expect more. But I'm telling you, it's like I'm trying to read into that why they wouldn't say airball, and it's almost like I don't know, like
I'm sure they would, but it's just like some of these highlights I've seen. It's they don't just say what's
nah,
happening on the fucking court.
yeah,
Like
nah, they eat a lot of words that they should say. They won't say it.
exactly.
And the reason behind there's like I don't know. There might be cultural reasons behind that, as far also like corporate reasons.
Yeah. Actually, you know what I saw? All right, I didn't see it. I saw like a video titled with it. It was about Caitlin Clark, and someone asked her about her turnovers, and the right thing actually happened where the teammates like, "Yo, fuck off! Like, fuck off with your questions." Like, yeah, she
Yeah.
knows. Fuck off. Like, that's what's supposed to happen. Your teammates supposed to. Your Charles Oakley's supposed to step up and be like, "Yo, no,
Yeah.
leave that shit alone." But the journalists are supposed to be asking questions like that if you're turning the fucking ball over. They are.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's like, fuck, man. Like, it's imagine if Le GM's doing the La Media thing and controls the fucking post game questions.
Yeah.
Now where are we? Now they're politicians, not even athletes anymore. I'm supposed to be Barack fucking Obama.
How they sound too.
It's crazy, man. Oh.
I was trying to show you that shit where Caitlin Clark was asked certain questions. I'm like, holy shit, she sounds like a politician.
Media trained.
Yeah, like a motherfucker.
Dude, what was the kid's name? Kyle Rittenhouse. He
Yeah.
did all that shit. He's instantly getting coached by these Fox News fucking creepers and Tucker
Yeah.
Carlson creepers. They're like, hey man, you gotta say it like this. You gotta do this. He gets a lawyer team, all this shit, bro. But yo, can't we just hear the kid's honest take on what happened, or like what is his honest feelings about it?
No, because there's millions of dollars riding behind
Exactly. There's a whole cultural
behind
phenomenon.
his side, yeah. They don't even give a shit about the kid. It's more about what he represents for their narrative.
Exactly. No one knows that. No one knows that kid anymore. No one gives a shit about that kid. Maybe he shows up like years later running for office or some shit. I was that kid who shot that guy. Vote for me.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I think you're right. There's something to the society shit where it's like this happening outside of sports and inside of sports. It's like, hey, man, nighttime. I like nighttime, man. I have no problem with shadows, black cats, ladders, whatever, tails on a coin. Those things don't bother me so much. Like they're a part of life. Let's embrace it, man. Maybe they won't. Maybe they don't look so bad if you embrace them. But if you're like, listen, you're a little too harsh to LeBron in that post-game interview. He asked that you not come back anymore. It wouldn't happen like that. It'd be more like they'd go over their heads right to the boss. Like, I don't want that guy on the floor anymore talking to me. Like, I won't answer questions for your newspaper if that guy's there. Replace him with someone else. It's like, let's be honest, man. Has that happened?
Yeah.
I'm very sure that's happened with many athletes. I mean, even a guy like that, I'm not the biggest fan of, but I thought he was interesting. Skip Bayless. He's now like what is Stroh's being threatened, right? Of him not being there anymore, or his show getting canceled and all
Well,
that shit.
he's getting bad ratings.
Well, why is that?
I really don't know. I don't think anybody knows why. I guess he was entertaining. Now they don't find him entertaining anymore.
I mean, he's been an analyst of sports forever, right? He's a walking kind of historian type of guy. If you want to think like, oh, that game, yeah, I was at that game. He can say that with many big sports moments, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he's paying attention to modern sports. So I'm like, huh, why does that guy need to be pushed out? I don't know. Or is he too negative with LeBron James? It's like, but now you have people that get booed, like us included, that get boosted by fucking talking about LeBron James and his fucking flaws. So it's like I don't know. Maybe he thought he was racist doing it or something. Maybe it's the Shannon thing. Who knows? That was over the top, but that's entertaining to me.
Well, he wasn't getting views with Shannon. He's getting less now, but he wasn't. It wasn't like he was killing it with Shannon either.
Well, maybe it's just TV dying. I don't know.
He's on like second rate network.
Is ESPN fucking booming with like First Take and all that shit?
Shannon Skip, yeah, dude. They're number. Well, it's kind of misleading because there's only two of them. It's only Skip and him, and Stephen A. And Stephen A. was beating Skip when he had Shannon, and now that he has Shannon, he's like quadrupling Skip's show.
Wow. And he's like a fake Skip Bayless to me. That's the thing about it. He's like Stephen A. is like
I guess he's more entertaining. You would say, in a way.
How? He's just a
He
less
just yells,
negative.
He gets clowned.
He doesn't really say much. That's the thing about it. He doesn't say anything.
I know.
But I don't know. LeBron James. Like, okay. I heard you let a fucking boxing judge get away with blatant corruption. You fucking excused it to the entire country, bro. But I don't know. I guess maybe people like that more. Whatever. All right. Here we go. The video.
Exceptions. You had your guys who were considered selfish players, and they usually didn't last too long in that NBA. Today, they may flourish because the team game is not really pushed much. You know, when you think about it, Denver has had a lot of success, mainly because they generally play a more team-oriented ball game.
And the Warriors.
And Mike Malone's a really good coach. Takes after his father, Brendan. In the 80s especially, I'll say too, that the NBA was just more talented. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, today there's 30 teams. And in the 80s, there were 23 teams. You know, until the late 80s was expanded to 27, I think. But remember this. You can make a strong argument that in the 80s, we had just enough teams so that there was enough competition. Not like in the 60s where, you know, sometimes Bill Russell only had 7 other teams to contend with. There were 23 teams after 1980 with the addition of the Dallas Mavericks. But with lesser teams compared to today, you could say the talent wasn't spread thin. You know what I mean? You could argue that today's NBA, the talent is spread out so much that there are guys playing in the NBA today who wouldn't have made the NBA back in the 80s. Whereas, with there being fewer teams, I mean, look, just do this. Let's just say, I tell you exactly what I mean. Let's say you're playing a video game. I know this, oh man, you're playing a video game, but let's just hear me out. Let's just say you're playing a 2K, right? And you're using a custom roster. And you got nothing but legends on there, right? Nothing but legends on your roster. As far as, not roster, in your draft pool. Now, if you spread all these legends out across the now 30 teams, that's going to be a very talented league, right? Let's say you had 100 legends in the draft pool. That's going to be a very talented NBA. But if you were to contract 7 teams away, right? If you took 7 teams away and it went down to 23, well, that means those other legends are going to replace, ultimately, some of the less talented teams, less talented players on the other teams. Which means that the league is going to be more talented because those guys are going to get signed somewhere.
I don't know about this
right?
logic.
You're not going to have Jerry West sitting somewhere and be playing Paul McKeskey, right? So ultimately, I should have used another guard, but you know my point. You could argue the 80s was just deeper, and you could just look at it as far as how many stars were on these teams. Like, people like to say the Detroit Pistons didn't have but so many Hall of Famers, but look, you had Buda Edwards at center.
No idea.
Depending upon what year it was, you had John Spider Sally in the front court, who was a good player. You had Bill Laimbeer, who was just below the old notch for Hall of Fame, but as the Hall of Fame began to lower its standards, and when you have a guy like Draymond Green getting in, you're kind of looking at Bill Laimbeer, well, maybe he is a Hall of Famer by today's standards.
Who?
Dennis Rodman's already a Hall of Famer. Isaiah Thomas is a Hall of Famer. Joe Dumars is close to that. You know what I'm saying? Then, of course, before they won a championship, they had Adrian Dantley on those teams. That's a lot of star power, right? You know what I'm saying? Then, of course, you had the Lakers, who at any given time had Magic, Kareem, Worthy, Bob McAdoo, Jamal Wilkes, Norm Nixon. Later on, of course, they had Byron Scott, Michael Thompson. Those teams that was normal. Today, we'll say those are super teams, but back then, that was normal. The players back then had, they also were more available.
He sounds like me when I would if I would talked about the 2004 Detroit Pistons, where I'm like, yo, they had Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tyshawn Prince. That's a stacked fucking team, bro. Those guys were like the Celtics that just won today. Kinda. Except better defensively, not as good offensively. But they're very parallel to each other, I think. The Celtics that just won today and the fucking Pistons of 04 that beat Shaq and Kobe's Lakers, bro. God dang. Yeah, Ben Wallace isn't going to score 20 points on you, but are you going to score on him, bro? Good luck. Good luck going to the basket on him. He's going to punch your shit into the front row. Holy fuck. Those guys are just bigger humans, bro. Straight up. That would be interesting. That'd be a team, because I heard Rasheed Wallace and Draymond Green arguing about their teams. All right? And it's Draymond's overlooking that 2004 fucking Pistons team.
Yeah.
Way overlooking them. Chauncey can shoot threes. Rip is a mid-range sniper. Rasheed can shoot fucking threes. Tayshaun Prince can shoot threes. Ben Wallace can rebound and block. They all play defense. They all play hard fucking defense.
They would make Draymond have to score. Draymond would have had to contribute, or the
they would have left his ass open. He would have shot 3 for 13 from 3-point, bro. You better shoot, because we're just leave your ass wide the fuck open, and we're gonna bully fucking Steph and Clay. We're gonna be hounding them and fucking KD. Tayshaun Prince, fucking, his fingertips could scrape the fucking ground. His arms are so fucking long. Straight up defender, 3-and-D guy. The definition of. Like KD's gonna score, but he would put up a way better effort than fucking than LeBron would, I think. Even LeBron in his prime. Chauncey Billups, Chauncey would probably take either Clay or Steph, either one, because Rip Hamilton's he's running 24/7. He plays like Steph, constantly running off screens, constantly running. So he can just play defense. Like if you're just gonna run off screens, Rip can guard you because that's what he does anyways. He runs and runs and runs and runs. Doesn't get fucking tired. And then Chauncey's like a big, strong dude, bro. Like you're like, all right, listen, Steph, you're gonna run around all day. All right, I'm gonna take you in the post, and you're not gonna be able to stop me. Chauncey will take little smaller guards into the post and score on them at will. I remember that shit. Like, good luck guarding that. He's yoked. You know, Chauncey Billups.
I didn't know he was 6'6". Maybe they
Chauncey's
lied.
Chauncey's not 6'6".
No, Rip Hamilton.
Oh yeah, Rip Hamilton's tall. Yes. He's legit 6'6", 6'7". But he played a finesse game, right? On offense, he'd come off screens, get open. If you fucking keep trying to switch with him, someone's gonna be left open. Either a Ben Wallace lob, a Rasheed Wallace, or he floats out for a jump shot, or he catches a lob. Like, good luck. Rasheed can post up anyone in the world. He can shoot jump hooks. He can shoot fadeaways. He can shoot 3-pointers. No one on that team. Who's guarding him on the Golden State Warriors? Would they have to put Draymond on him? Maybe. Then who's going to be in the paint? Who's going to be in the paint grabbing rebounds over Ben Wallace?
Nobody.
He's just going to get put back after put back after put back. So it's like, good luck. Good luck. You can't put KD on him.
If Steph and Clay have good games, or Steph and KD have good games, they'll win.
Yeah.
But you can't count on it.
I mean, they're
gonna have to make tough shots. They're gonna have to make tough shots.
Those moments where the Pistons are like, we're not just gonna sprint down the floor and shoot with 19 seconds left on the shot clock. The fourth quarter, we're gonna slow everything down and run plays, and now you're gonna have to guard us half court, and you have to try to score in the half court over and over and over again.
I mean, like, if you put it in the setting of a game, you also got to take into account, what was his name, Larry Brown?
Yes. He was the coach, yeah.
Like, I trust him more than than Kerr.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, reputation-wise, yeah. But, like, on defense, what do they do? For the Warriors, like, there's nothing they can do. Phillips had deep range. He just didn't shoot him a lot. But he had legit Dame Lillard fucking range if he wanted to. But, all right. There we go.
You didn't see nearly as many players not playing 70 games at least. These guys played through injuries, and they were hurt, not injured per se, to the point where if they played, it would hurt them more. They may have had discomfort, but they played through it. They would get injections to numb the pain and play through it. Look, Jared Allen would have been forced by his teammates of the Cavaliers. They would have forced his ass to play. I'm telling you, that shit where these guys were just sitting down because they didn't feel like 100%. That's that crap. Remember a couple years ago, Zion said, "Well, I'm not gonna play because I don't feel 100%." Man, let me tell you something. In the 80's, his teammates would have whooped his ass. Ain't no way in hell you're the highest paid player on this team, and I gotta take my ass out there and play, and I'm hurt, and you're not playing because you don't want to be. You're not 100%. Then we know that you're laying up with some 304 somewhere. Man, you better get your ass out there and play. Man, they would have beat whatever.
That's the 90's, too. That's not just the 80's.
So, just so many different factors.
It's probably the early 2000s as well.
Past, man. And then, the way that I saw basketball growing up, man, it was like Kobe Bryant said. He said once that today's stars, the difference between today's stars is like the offense is kind of predictable. Guys drive the basket, they kick it out to a shooter, they kick it out to this guy, they kick it
Or
out to that
accidental.
guy. Whereas when he played, it was more purposeful and more aggressive basketball. One-on-one, the players, generally the offensive players, they were a little bit, okay, you might know that a guy's going to score, but these guys had more in their bags back then. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of guards, say for instance point guards, they had the mid-range. They had a little bit of three ball back then too. Not act like the guys in the 90s couldn't shoot threes. They just didn't rely on it to the extent that these guys do today, but they could shoot the three ball. They had the mid-range game, which has totally disappeared starting in the late 90s and is almost extinct now. Point guards could post you up back then. Plus they played defense, plus they could facilitate.
Oh, yeah.
Centers back.
That would be a big deal. Like I just said about Chauncey Billups posting up Steph Curry. Like, that's a big deal. Imagine Mark Jackson. He's once again, another big point guard.
John Starks, yeah.
Putting you in the fucking... John Starks ain't putting no one in the fucking... Or no, John Starks, yes. I thought you said John Stockton. I'm like, you ain't putting no one in the fucking...
No.
Starks, yeah. Well, he's more of a two-guard, but... Yeah, he will post you up for fucking small. I mean, as far as the game of basketball, they might... The older players, they might have more shit to them than we realize. Maybe. One big thing that she's missing from modern sports, period, is craftiness, man. Where the fuck did that go? In baseball, they're like writing it out of the game, basically. You know, shit when you stall a hitter or you stall a pitcher out, you do shit to fuck with them, bro. Like as like a crafty thing, like to get in their head a little bit, to make them make mistakes. That's just not little tricks and things you could do to fuck with people.
Can't do it now.
Imagine remember when pitchers had aim and they could brush someone off the fucking plate? Like, okay, you're taking up too much space. I'm going to move you back a bit. Because guess what? I know 89 doesn't look so impressive next to 100 miles an hour, but 89 is still a fast-moving object moving towards your face. You're like, yo, get the fuck off my plate. Back off. You stand there, I might hit you. Just to prove a point. It's like, it's gritty, right? But there's a craftiness to it. There's a point to it. It feels like I don't see that in modern sports, bro. Like a craftiness. Yeah. Except for like Luka does crafty shit. I'll give him that. I think they call it on other players. They don't call it on him. But he does like little crafty things, or he gets nudges off of people, uses his body weight against people, push-offs. James Harden does it, right? But like, I don't know. It seems like they mandate it out of the leagues, except for I guess a few exceptions. Who are star players, I guess they're allowed to. But like back in the day, like fucking Mark Jackson will nudge you and move you back to get to a spot, not for him to even shoot it, just to get other people in positions to score. Like, yo, I'm gonna move your little point guard that thinks he can guard me. I'm gonna bully the shit out of him.
That's what he was saying. Like it was more purposeful. Now it's more individual. I don't even think it's individual. It's like, how do you make it more individual, but each individual is less talented.
Yeah.
In the sense of the game of basketball.
Yes, in the sense of basketball itself, as opposed to the sense of just dribbling.
The IQ is lower. Yeah, the IQ is lower. You're not thinking for the team. You're thinking for you, the person holding the ball, more than anyone else.
And
even these guys like Luka, like these guys getting assists, it's almost like. It's like, oh, you're helping me get an assist. I'm not really helping you score. You're helping
me. Pass the ball to a guy. He does 6 dribbles, a step back fadeaway, swishes it, assist. Like, what? You just did all that shit. But you heard me when we were watching some of these Dallas games where I'm like, yo, or especially against the fucking Timberwolves. I'm like, yo, why aren't you guys picking on him? Pick on Luka, bro. He's not guarding anyone. He's not doing anything on defense. He's literally like LeBron James reserving energy on defense. He's not doing anything. And the Celtics like, we'll go at him. They beat the shit out of that fucking team.
It's almost like you weren't allowed to go at him.
It's weird, man. Like he's such a blatant liability. Somehow these coaches didn't see that. It's, and it's like I don't know to put that on. Coaches, players, should players notice that? You'd be like, yo, did they watch tape anymore? To be like, yo, look what's happening here. Like, look at this guy. Like, he's not doing anything. How come a fan just watching it can see that? And then when a team actually does enforce, do that against Luka, they get fucking washed. It was 4-1 series, bro. They.
I like Golden State, same thing either.
It's incredible, man. Oh, yeah, it's definitely like a craftiness that's just lost, man. You need think the mind of like a pool hustler, bro. Like playing in Major League Baseball or in the NBA or NFL or something, where they're just crafty as fuck. And I don't mean flopping, right? I know people think that I bet in LeBron's mind he thinks that's him being crafty and getting calls, but it's just like kind of trash and like cheesy.
Not when you're of that stature. Like you get calls, you sneeze. Don't if fucking someone sneezes on you, you get a call.
That's cheese. That's not fucking craftiness, man. To me, to do this one move over and over again and get this guy to fall for it and draw a foul on him, that's fucking crafty. That's crafty. You get him to fall for a move and you fucking draw fouls on him all game long. That's crafty. But you, ref, and getting fouls called for you is cheese.
I remember old man D Wade used to do that.
Exactly.
He had that pump fake, bro. He would post you up in the paint. He'd nudge you with his shoulder, back up, do the pump fake, and they would fall for it.
Exactly. Harden was crafted. KD was crafty at it, at drawing foul. They changed the rule around to get rid of that craftiness. Like if guys reach in, just fucking swipe your arms through and draw a foul. Like I consider that like someone being crafty. Like now you got to defend them differently. Like hey, you're allowed to put your arms out there, but like if they can fucking like hook your arm with their own arm while they're trying to shoot, they drew a foul on you, man. It's like if they pump fake and you jump in the air and they kind of nudge into you a little bit and draw a foul, like, yeah, they got you. Damn, you got me, and move on. But instead, they league mandate the rule, the fucking thing out of here. It's incredible. Yeah, one of the other things they try to mandate is flopping, but somehow that's still prevalent as ever.
Still happen.
Flopping all over the fucking place. But whatever. All right. Let's let T-Raw finish this video.
Back then, they actually were centers. You know what I mean? Like these guys actually were down low players. People marvel at Jokic, but that was commonplace in the 80s and 90s. Jack Sikma could do all the things that Jokic could do in the post and more. He wasn't all around skilled like Jokic in some other ways, but although he could shoot from outside like Jokic, but that was commonplace. Big men were supposed to be able to score down low. Interesting that when Jokic was going up against an actual center, or like whether it was Cat or when it was Cat and Gobert guarding him, notice his efficiency went down. Remember that game when he had like 30 points, but he took almost 30 shots? See, that's what would have happened if he played in the 80s and 90s. Matter of fact, I'll be honest with you. I'm not convinced that Jokic is better than Brad Daugherty. I'm just not. I think if you put Brad Daugherty in today's NBA and he's healthy and he's allowed to facilitate, I think Brad Daugherty could average in today's league 25, 13, and 9 too. I really do believe that. And players in the past
I don't know.
IQs. They didn't do so much stupid crap that you see today.
I do know there are unicorns, though.
And they were just, I don't know, man. The players of the past, it just seemed more driven. I think these guys today make so much money.
That's what we mentioned.
that they're not driven to play hard anymore. Look at the All-Star games. Even the commissioner just said before one of the finals games, I think it was before Game 4, he said that we may be past the point where these guys just aren't incentivized to play hard. Allen Iverson was a millionaire. Kobe Bryant was a millionaire. Marbury was a millionaire, at least then. They played hard. So it's
That's like I think like a self-image, like a vision of themselves. When Kobe walks out there with the fucking torn Achilles and shoots the fucking free throws and like swishes them and shit, like he's like, yeah, I'm the man. I can do that shit. Like I'm the toughest player. I'm the hardest player. Pause. Like I'm that guy. Now it's like a thing to be like, you get fouled, but they don't call it. Is just put your arms in the air and don't run back on Like I saw Caitlin Clark do that shit. Throw your hands up in the air and don't fucking run back on defense. Like, man, ref, yo, come on, man. Put a funny look on your face, but yo, man. Like that's now the swag thing to do. Before it was like, yeah, I got shot, but I'm good. I'm all right. Tough, right? Tough, right?
So, yeah.
Like that was the mentality. Now it's like you get like touched in the face. These guys are rolling on the ground like, oh my god. Am I concussed? Am I bleeding? John, am I bleeding? Just take a look. There's that fucking Angry Old Hoops video where LeBron just constantly keeps checking his nose for blood. And it's like, dude, if it wasn't bleeding then, it's not bleeding now. Bro. He just keeps checking, like, because it's like a swagger thing to be like, man, that hurt. Fuck, that dude was doing too much, man. He's doing too much. Shit, am I bleeding? 20 minutes later, am I bleeding, yo? Yeah, am I bleeding? Kobe walks up with a torn fucking Achilles and shoots free throws without a fucking grimace on his face, bro. He's limping because he can't move around, but he just has a stone cold look on his face, like I'm swishing these two motherfuckers. Like that's the guy right there. He's like, I'm the fucking man. Like you wish you were like me, type shit. Like holy fuck, man, where did that go? Maybe Anthony Edwards. People are saying that he's kind of like that, but then I heard him say when they lost the game to the Mavericks, like, yeah, we were tired, man. Like, I appreciate the honesty, but like you don't. Back in the day, like you don't let anyone know your fucking weakness, bro. You don't let them know that shit. You were tired? Never say that. I'd rather hear someone say they were hurt before they were fucking tired. But I don't know, new era, I guess, man. Like it's like I still don't allow that shit, bro. Like, yo, hey Jordan, you fucked this thing up right here. Yeah, it's whatever. I'll get him next time. I'll do it better next time. Whatever, right? I'm not gonna be like, well, I had a bad day. I was tired, and like I actually go at it. Like, I'll have the mentality to go back at it. Like, I don't care how fucking tired I am. I'm here to, like, I'm gonna win. Like, I'm gonna do this. Like, if you hear me gaming, I'll probably like, fuck that pussy. Like, it could be some nasty pro player. Like, he's trash, bro. Get on him. I'll get him next time. Don't worry. That's like a mentality thing, I think. But hey, remember that shit in Little League, man? I used to hate that. Whoa, he throws hard. I'm like, I don't give a fuck, bro. Get on him, bro. He's gonna get crapped on today. But it's hard to say how the phenomenon started or what's going on here, but it seems to be here. But I think one legitimate savage motherfucker could it'll turn around in like a day. They'll become the new standard overnight. It only takes one of them. To be honest with it, with the fucking flimsy, soft shit, that could be universal for now. But all it takes is one savage. Like, oh, you're gonna play soft? I'm not. Watch this. And then the whole thing changes. Like, fuck, how we stay up with this guy? Well, we gotta start signing tough guys too. All right, and like the whole thing just gets washed over, and then yeah, that's the way it seems. When he's one savage motherfucker. But we'll see. Yeah, just 3 seconds left. Anything you want to add, Anthony? Any of this?
No. I just wanted to see what you thought.
It's interesting, man. It's interesting. I don't know enough about the 80s guys or anything like that, but the late 90s, early 2000s, or damn near any era of baseball for me, I can look at it, and baseball is just. And if you need any more evidence of something like just outright changing, outright, baseball is the sport you can look at more than any other sport, I think. I don't care if football, they get rid of fucking, kickoffs. They basically eliminate kickoffs in a way.
They're trying.
Pass interference changes, roughing the quarterback changes. They changed all these rules. Still nowhere near the degree that baseball's changed. But no one cares about baseball. So,
The whole fabric of the sport changed.
Yeah, it's
the quality has gone down a lot.
Yes. Yeah. But they throw harder, man. The ball goes. They hit the ball further, and they throw harder. So
They just don't throw enough strikes or hit the ball enough. But when they hit it, and when they throw it, the numbers are amazing. They just don't do it as much.
Yeah.
You don't throw as much because you're always getting hurt, and you don't hit as much because you suck at putting the bat on the ball. But besides that, better than ever.
We should have fun. Like, who's the best leadoff man? Who's like, or if you're a fan of a team, like, man, we should get rid of this guy and get this guy. This guy gets on base more. Like, is like this guy's specialty, man. He's a specialist doing this shit. Or this guy plays solid defense. He can take runs away by playing defense solid. He's not going to hit 40 home runs. He's going to hit like 5 home runs. But, he puts the bat on the ball. He can bunt, and he can fucking field. We need him. Like, shit like that used to be current. Now it's just, used to be like a gentleman's sport. You know what I mean? Like, where, like, you're looking at the little intricate details, like we're GMs almost. Like, the fans get to be GMs watching the fucking sport play out. Now it's just...
What made the game special isn't in the game anymore.
Exactly. Holy fuck, man. But it is what it is. Alright, there's our reaction to 2 Raw's video, why the 80s and 90s stars were better than the stars of today. Like the video!